let's talk about how we got here. It is nice, well seasoned piece of fried sea bass, Asian sea bass. So, after playing with the blow dryer and some paint, which I got all over my onesie, I decided I was going to make me some fried Asian sea bass. Let's start off with a teaspoon of coarse ground black pepper. Sprinkle it onto that baby. Yes, don't have to worry about sprinkling it all even and stuff. Once the batter gets in there, it'll take care of that. Grab the Old Bay. Grab about a teaspoon of that too. Oops. A little bit more than a teaspoon. Go ahead and siphon a little bit back into the container. Don't need that much. And then come on and sprinkle it on there too. Yep, get it right on top. Slap, slap, slap. Get that Old Bay back into the container because I don't need the rest of that. I'm going to add a little bit more seasoning in a minute. Grab some baking powder. Yes, you guessed it, another teaspoon. Sprinkle that on top of the fish. And then let's go ahead and get that cornstarch. Grab about a mounted tablespoon of that. So probably about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Sprinkle on top. Got the oil warming up in the back on a level 4 heat. So about medium low. Yeah, somewhere in that range. Go ahead and grab some flour. And so we can mix the flour into the batter. Yep, tried to show you the flour, but kind of had the container offset. So there we go. Mounted tablespoon of flour. So that's probably about 2 tablespoons of flour thrown on top of that. Here is where I made the mistake. You're going to see this in a second. I poured a little bit too much water into the fish the first time, so I had to make some adjustments to that. So I had 3/4 cups of water, and I should have had about between a quarter cup and a half, and poured it on there. Voila, it is now swimming. So fish swimming in the water with the seasoning, the flour, cornstarch, baking soda. Oops, no, baking powder. Not baking soda. Mix it all around up in there, and now you can see the fish is actually swimming, which is not the consistency that I want. So I'm going to have to make some adjustments to this in a second. But the seasoning, you can see that seasoning floating around it. That's definitely what I wanted. So I grabbed me another tablespoon of cornstarch and then another tablespoon of cornstarch and sprinkled it up in there. So total so far about 4 tablespoons. And about 4 sprinkles, 5 sprinkles of some Lowry seasoning salt. So that's probably about 2 tablespoons added into it because of the amount of water. I need to adjust all my flavors, and I didn't want to grab more Old Bay because it, in my opinion, is going to make it too salty. So, yes, now I have batter and paint everywhere. Yep. That's how I roll. Ain't no need in being clean. I'm going to clean all of this up in a second. Yeah. I did not say that I was a chef. Nope, not at all. I'm a house cook. So, everything is not all nice and clean, but it is delicious. Stand by for that part. Yes. So, yes, I am rubbing that flavor all up into the fish, trying to get the batter, smooth it out. Added a little bit more cornstarch. You see me sprinkle it on there because it was not the consistency I wanted it at before I get ready to dip this baby. Yes. So, once it gets nice and smooth around all parts of it, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to dip that fish into some more batter. And I know you might be thinking, what? That is just way too much starch. It is not going to taste like anything, but I promise you, you're going to have to trust the process. So, go ahead and pat that right on down. Shake it around a little bit. Make sure that it is nice and evenly coated. But it is not as coated as I wanted it to be, or as even as I wanted it to be. But that's okay because, boom, you got it. It is going right back into that batter to get that flavor absorbed just a little bit more. And as you can see, when it popped in there, it started to clump up a little bit, which is not the way I want it. So I want to ensure that it is nice and smooth all the way around that fish So yes, I am going to go ahead and smooth it out just a little bit more. You can see the thickness of it. So there you go. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Trust the process. And you can see as I smooth it, I am leaning the bowl to the side just to show you. It's like a little bit thinner than pancake batter. Not like a crepe, that's way too thin, but definitely, yeah, there you go. See, now you can see how easily it moves, and it is nice and evenly coated. Wanted to test that oil, make sure that it pop, and let me show you how you know when your oil is ready. See, it's still popping from when I popped that batter in there. And now, time to let some of the batter drain from the fish. Yes. Once it has drained enough, go ahead and slide that puppy right into the oil. Woohoo! You can see that frying. You might be able to hear it, but I removed the original sound because there was all kind of things going on in the house, and it was just way too much interference. But you can see oil was nice and hot, fish is frying up, and I'm going to go ahead and let that sit there and fry. I am not going to go touch this fish at all while it is sitting on this side. I'm going to go ahead and clean up that mess you see me making on the countertop. Yes. Go ahead and get them dishes washed up while the fish is frying up. Yeah, because, can't have my mother walking in here and seeing a mess on the counter. She already go complain about the little bit of mess that she see in the background right now. Oh my goodness, you made a video and you got all this stuff on my counter. You ain't want to clean all that mess up. You see how Tiana done scratched up the counter. You couldn't move none of that. I could just hear her right now. And I'm be like, you know what? Nobody care. They was looking at the fish. And this is the first time I am actually trying this video editing software. So, it's all in the experience. Next time, we'll see what happens. I will clean that up a little bit. So, you won't see all that extra in the background, or maybe you will. You know how it goes. We house cooks. We are not. We. There I go. There I go. I am not a we. I am one person, and I'm not a twin. But, ooh, I can see in the upper right-hand corner where that fish is starting to turn a little brown. So, I know that means that it is getting where it needs to go. And while I'm saying that, I can see some batter done splattered on the side of the stove. Oh, mommy is just gonna have a lovely time when she see this video talking about how you need to clean up that kitchen. And I'm gonna be like, oh my goodness, she caught me out there. I got it on video. Yep, you seen the oil pop. I seen the oil pop. And I see that fish is getting browner as I'm not even paying attention right now because I am at the counter washing dishes. You probably see me walk by right there real quick, trying to grab up a little bit of stuff that was still sitting up there and wash it up right quick because that fish, it is going where it needs to be. You can also see as the fish is frying that the bubbles are starting to fry. They're starting to pop a little bit slower. So when you first popped it in there, it's like splash, waterfall, bubbles everywhere. As you can see, the bubbles are starting to get small. They're starting to pop slower, and the fish is crusting around. I know it's time to flip it. So grab that spatula. And then I'm also going to go ahead and wash it off right quick and then wipe it down with a paper towel so it doesn't splash. Grab me a knife and whoop, flip it. Look at that. Woohoo. She is so pretty. Yes, I like to flip the fish over with the spatula and the knife so that the spatula holds the fish steady and the knife also holds the fish steady in the background and it does not flip and splash with oil, and my fish also does not break. So once again, you can see those bubbles moving a whole lot faster than they were before. That is because the battered side has now hit the oil and it has started the process all over again. Like I said, nice and pretty. So what? Yeah, we'll say about 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes that it took to fry that side up nice and golden. And we're going to let this one go ahead and fry up for another 2.5 to 3 minutes. Yep, you see me right quick. I didn't even bother to put on no makeup, do my hair. Wasn't even supposed to be in the video clip. But I got caught out there, so voila, there I go. Don't pause it and rewind and be like, oh wow, she look crazy, because I already know that. Anyway, as we move forward, once again, calling myself we, and I'm only one person, I decided that I needed to grab me a vegetable to go along with this piece of fish. Yeah, I didn't make any grits. Oops. Yeah, yeah. I'm having. Yeah, sorry. Kind of dropped the camera while I was trying to slice the corn. Yes, that is the chosen vegetable. While I was slicing the corn off the cob, I kind of dropped the whole camera. So, yeah. Let me go ahead and sit that back up. Ooh, now you can hear the audio starting again because I forgot to remove the audio from this part. So, voila! You can hear that fish. It was nice and pop, 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 fry, 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 fry. And ooh, look at that. Look at that. Seasoning just all nice and evenly distributed amongst that piece of fish. Yeah, that's what we talking about. Voila. So there's the roasted garlic and herb seasoning. There is the corn sliced off the cob. I have a teaspoon of butter in a frying pan on number 4 for the heat. Yep, see, sure know you all the business this time. Yes, with the pot nice and warm, I'm gonna go ahead and stir around this corn. I want it separated and get the seasoning onto each of the kernels. Let me go ahead and turn this light on. Yep, see, I gotta clean all of that off because mommy gonna have a fit. She's gonna be like, oh my goodness, you do not have my stove looking like this. And I'm gonna be like, oh wow, I missed that part. Yeah. So, yes, stir around that corn, get it nice and separated because you know when you slice it off the cob, it tends to stick together. And I do not want all of my corn together. I want it to be nice and separated. All of those kernels nice and buttery with that roasted garlic and herb seasoning, you know, covering all the bits. Yeah, I gotta do something fancy, tap the side of the pot like, you know, I got a whole bunch of corn up in here and I'm some fancy little chef. It works for me to get the extra little kernels off of the edge of my little spatula thingy there. So, that's what I did. You can hear it sizzling. It is nice and hot at this point. I do not want to overcook the corn, obviously, because we're not making popcorn right now. We are just warming up some corn to go along with this fish and have us a nice dinner. Yes. So now that that corn is done, let's go ahead and turn this stove off and get it on the plate. Because you know it's time to eat. And voila! There is the end product of the Asian sea bass, this time fried with some roasted garlic and herb corn. I am getting ready to enjoy. Hope you enjoyed your dinner too.